Hello everyone, Sue from Pokisutami here. In this video, we are going to be taking a deeper look at the mysterious Bloodmoon Ursaluna, its origins, lore, and connections to real-world Japan. If you like Pokemon deep dive videos like this, connecting Pokemon to Japanese culture, please be sure to check out my previous video all about Ogopon. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The thumbnail for this video was illustrated by Rumiko. Please do check out Rumiko's Twitter to see more fantastic artwork like this. With all that being said, let's jump straight into the video. To better understand the lore of Bloodmoon Ursaluna, we need to take a quick look at Teddiursa and Ursaring. Teddiursa and Ursaring first appeared in the Generation 2 Gold and Silver games. Teddiursa is a small bipedal little bear Pokemon. It is a pure normal type Pokemon. Teddiursa's Japanese name is Himeguma. The name has three meanings. Hime, meaning princess. Hi, which when using this kanji means crescent moon. And Guma, coming from the word kuma, meaning bear. Teddiursa is likely inspired by the Japanese black bear, also commonly known as moon bears. The Japanese name for Japanese black bears is Tsuki no Raguma. This literally translates to Ring of the Moon Bear. While Teddiursa obviously has a thing for honey, you can tell just how much Teddiursa loves honey by looking at any of the Pokédex entries. Japanese black bears have a more varied diet, including grasses, herbs, berries, and occasionally prey such as fish. All these things considered, Teddiursa is considered to be a small, cute, lovable bear Pokemon with a gentle and calm temperament. Teddiursa evolves into Ursaring at level 30, with no special evolution methods required. Ursaring is a larger bear Pokemon, classified as the Hibernator Pokemon. After evolving, it keeps the same pure normal typing as Teddiursa. Ursaring's Japanese name is Ringuma. The name Ringuma has three meanings incorporated into it. Ring being from the English word ring. This kanji here can be read as rin and can mean ring, circle, reel, or loop. And lastly, like Teddiursa, Guma meaning bear. Also like Teddiursa, Ursaring is inspired by the Tsuki no Raguma. However, judging by Pokédex entries, Ursaring's diet more closely resembles that of a Japanese black bear. Ursaring's gold Pokédex reads, although it is a good climber, it prefers to snap trees with its forelegs and eat fallen berries. Diamond and Pearl reading, in its territory, it leaves scratches on trees that bear delicious berries or fruits. And possibly, most importantly, Fire Red and Soul Silver Pokédex entries stating, with its ability to distinguish any aroma, it unfailingly finds all food buried deep underground. Ursaring is considered to be much more temperamental and ferocious than its little bear pre-evolution. It appears to be very skilled at tracking food with its strong sense of smell. This strong sense of smell is particularly important when moving the conversation to Ursaluna. Ursaluna was first introduced in Generations 8 Legends Arceus. Ursaluna's Japanese name is Gachikuma. Gachi comes from the word gachirin, meaning full moon. Additionally, the two kanji used for the word gachirin are also used when writing Tsuki no Raguma, with this kanji by itself meaning moon and this kanji by itself meaning ring or circle. Lastly, of course, like its two pre-evolutions, Guma is a deviation of the word kuma, meaning bear. Naturally, just like Teddiursa and Ursaring before it, Ursaluna is heavily inspired by the Tsuki no Raguma. If anything out of the three, it probably has the most inspiration drawn from the Japanese black bears. In Legends Arceus, the whole Ursaluna evolutionary line can be found and are seen to reside primarily in the Crimson Mirelands. However, Teddiursa and Ursaring can also be found at Sonorous Path on the Coronet Highlands map. The area of the Crimson Mirelands is very important to the cultural connections and lore of Ursaluna. The Crimson Mirelands, what later becomes known as the Great Marsh, is based off the real-world Kushiro Shitsugen, known as Kushiro Marsh in English. Kushiro Marsh is located nearby, roughly 20 kilometers northwest of the city of Kushiro in the Hokkaido prefecture of Japan. Kushiro Marsh is Japan's largest marshland, at around 268.61 square kilometers wide. Currently, Kushiro Marsh is protected under the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands International Importance. Kushiro Marsh is also the home to many animals and plant species, of course including Japanese black bears, which are often sighted by locals and tourists. It's only in the Crimson Mirelands where the special item, the peat block, which is needed to evolve Ursaring into Ursaluna, can be found. In order for Ursaring to evolve into Ursaluna, it needs to have the peat block during a full moon, truly making it a moon bear. Upon evolving, the Pokédex entry for Ursaluna reads, "I believe it was Hisui's swampy terrain that gave Ursaluna its burly physique and newfound capacity to manipulate peat at will." But what exactly is a peat block? And why is it so crucial to Ursaluna's evolution and survival? To help explain the ecology and importance of peat blocks, we have a short explanation from Alex from Geek Ecology.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex from Geek Ecology, and I'm here to talk just a bit about what might have happened to Ursaluna and why Ursaring doesn't evolve in the modern Pokemon timeline and instead only evolves in Hisui. Ursaluna is native to the Crimson Mirelands, which is a wetland in the Hisui region in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Mires are a specific kind of wetland along with peatlands and quagmires that are dominated by peat-producing plants. And peat is just an accumulation of partially decayed plant material that doesn't fully break down due to low oxygen conditions. This is why the item Peat Block can be found in this region in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's possible that over time, Ursaring became adapted to hunting and foraging in these wetlands, which eventually led to the adaptation and evolution into Ursaluna, which is perfectly fitted for digging through the peat and hunting in a wetland with its large claws and forearms and well-built shoulder muscles. However, we can see in modern Sinnoh that the Crimson Mirelands and the Peat Block no longer exist. This is due to habitat destruction of the Crimson Mirelands and the fact that peat is a non-renewable resource because it takes such a long time to develop. People settling the Hisui region were probably drawn to the Crimson Mirelands because of its rich natural resources. Peat can be harvested and burned as a fuel, used as a bedding for livestock, and the rich fertile soils were probably great for growing crops. So those people probably harvested most of the peat, drained the wetland for agriculture and building houses, and destroyed the habitat that Ursaring needed to evolve into Ursaluna. Without the Crimson Mirelands, there is no natural peat left, and without peat, there is no Ursaluna. So now we just have Ursaring unable to evolve, and the city of Pastoria built right on top of the habitat that Ursaring and Ursaluna used to call home. Now back to Poke Sutami.
A huge thanks to Alex for explaining that better than I ever could. For more information regarding the ecology of Ursaluna, please check out the full explanation video on Geek Ecology. Both Ursaring and Ursaluna's strong sense of smell, which was even mentioned earlier in Ursaring's Pokédex entry, without doubt helps it to search for the essential peat blocks. But we know that Ursaluna does not exist in any of the modern Pokemon games, and Ursaring is not able to evolve. So, as Alex mentioned, it is likely that the peat blocks were harvested and the land of the Crimson Mirelands was altered for settlement. And once all of the peat was gone, even with its strong sense of smell, the Ursaring and Ursaluna population of the Mirelands were left to struggle without peat. Interestingly, Teddiursa and Ursaring can also not be found in the modern-day Sinnoh's Great Marsh, the area that was once the Crimson Mirelands. So it is likely that the entire Ursaluna evolutionary line population of the Crimson Mirelands either migrated to other areas or simply died out. Because as mentioned earlier, the only other location in Hisui where Teddiursa and Ursaring can be found is the Coronet Highlands, which is roughly, if not close to, Route 211, where they can be found in the original Diamond and Pearl games. But whether the Crimson Mirelands population migrated or died out, we are still left with the existence of the lone Bloodmoon Ursaluna in the land of Kitakami. It's likely that it decided to try to migrate in search of better living conditions, following the settlement of the Crimson Mirelands and surrounding areas. whether it started its journey with other Ursaluna and Ursaring, decided to migrate in a different direction than the rest of the population, or simply just didn't want to sit around and wait for the end of its life in the ever-changing Crimson Mirelands is unknown. What we do know by looking at the maps of the Pokemon world and maps of Japan is a few likely possible paths that led Bloodmoon Ursaluna to Kitakami. The Scarlet entry for Ursaluna reads, "It crossed the sea and drifted ashore in a new land. Surviving in this place led it to take on a unique appearance and gain special powers. Black bears are known to be good swimmers, capable of swimming up to 10 miles in one session without pause. However, black bears are more adept to swimming in shallower waters, but when feeling threatened or endangered, they can swim in deeper waters. If considering the possibility that Ursaluna swam directly from the Crimson Mirelands to the closest landmass near Kitakami, considering the real-world geography and locations of the Kushiro Marsh and Kitakami in Iwate Prefecture, just from shore to shore, the distance would be roughly around 354 kilometers. Following this long sea journey, Ursaluna would need to travel to land to finally reach Kitakami. While bears are good swimmers, Pokemon bears being likely even stronger, that distance of sea travel would likely be impossible. It would need to have been some sort of miracle for Ursaluna to have survived long enough to drift ashore. But I guess miracles happen sometimes in the Pokemon world. However, the best possible migration route Ursaluna could have taken was to first travel through the mountains, through the Obsidian Fieldlands, past Lake Verity, and from here Ursaluna would have traveled down and started swimming from this point here. Looking at the real-world map, from this corresponding location to the nearest landmass is 21 kilometers. It's a distance that, given its strong body, swimming skills and desire to survive, would have been a plausible swimming distance for Ursaluna. This swimming path would have had Ursaluna swimming through the Tsugaru Strait. From there, Ursaluna would have likely traveled along various rivers and through mountains, possibly including Lake Usori, a small lake located in the top parts of the Aomori Prefecture. Lake Usori is connected to the Tsugaru Strait through a drain outlet that connects the two. Lake Usori is known for its vivid blue water, extreme acidity, and high pH balance. In fact, Lake Usori is the likely inspiration for the crystal pool in Kitakami, with its vivid blue color, with terra crystals that would likely alter the pond's pH balance, and even the red bridge. The area of Lake Usori and the connecting Mount Usori are said to be a place where spirits linger and one can communicate with the deceased. The red bridge itself is important, as it's said that it represents the journey that souls make to go to the afterlife. And the river running below this bridge is called the Sanzu River, and it's said to be the gate between the realms of the living and the dead. However, looking at the two maps, the location of Lake Usori and where the crystal pool is slightly differ. However, that wouldn't have made a huge difference in Ursaluna's migration path. Ursaluna would have continued this journey until it finally reached Kitakami and the Timeless Woods. Ursaluna likely decided to settle and make its new home the Timeless Woods for several factors: an abundance of food, rare to no human interaction, seclusion, and a reliable water source. But at most, this journey would have taken several months to a year. But it's estimated that the story of Legends Arceus predates the modern-day stories by at least 100 years, if not more. Given the fact that the average life expectancy of a black bear is around 20 to 30 years, the fact that Bloodmoon Ursaluna has not only survived just the journey but also the long passage of time is an oddity. However, there are a few things that could explain both Bloodmoon Ursaluna's luck and longevity. In my opinion, Bloodmoon Ursaluna is likely the ride Pokemon Ursaluna from the legend story, meaning it is a descendant of the Ursaluna that was befriended by the ancient hero. This could possibly mean it's stronger than the average Ursaluna. The other likely contributing factor is the water source found in the Timeless Woods. Looking at the map of Kitakami, we can see that the lake in the Timeless Woods connects directly to the river that comes down from Oni Mountain's crystal pool. It is mentioned by Briar that the crystals in the pond radiate energy the same wavelength as terrestrial energy. And like mentioned earlier, the crystal pool is likely based off Lake Usori, so it seems plausible that the unique pH balance in this water has special components that led to Ursaluna's longevity and transformation into its blood moon form. Another interesting note is that the river connecting the crystal pool to the timeless woods is likely based on the Sanzu River. I mentioned it briefly before, but the Sanzu River is said to be the gate between the world of the living and the dead. This could imply that as the endpoint for this river, the timeless woods is a place that is in between the two realms. Ursaluna, stuck between the realms and drinking from the river leading down from the crystal pool, became Bloodmoon Ursaluna. In Japan, a blood moon is called Akaitsuki. Blood moons are fought in two different lights. Some people consider blood moons to be a sign of impending danger or calamity, while others consider blood moons to be a sign of rebirth, change, and transformation. Simply put, Ursaluna faced the destruction of its home habitat, lost its clan, made an arduous journey, but is still alive despite the passage of time. Caught between the realms, it was just simply not able to pass away. This ends the explanation on why Ursaluna needed to migrate, how it migrated, and how the migration to a new land led to the transformation into its blood moon form. There was a whole lot of information here, but I hope you have been able to enjoy this video and found it informative. Liking, dropping a comment, subscribing, and sharing this video among your friends and fan communities really helps a lot. Thank you so much for watching. But for now, it's time for me to say bye bye. またね。